Thank you for coming. You're doing sort of 100 miles. Really? Oh, where are you going tomorrow? Nashville. Goodness me, you need a passport out there. What did you do? You're thinking about this. Wonderful to see you. Thank you very much. Now, Ray, tell us what's going here.
interview a few of the drivers now because the expert's usually the man behind the wheel. So we're going to start today with we'll start with a Reliant Robin or a faithful copy. So what have we got here? Reliant Robin, scaled down, what are you going to say, quarter size? Who made this for you?
My brother and my dad.
Great to see, thank you for bringing it. Now, my goodness, what a splendid Mini we got here. What have we got? He's delegating. So now, madam, tell us about your magnificent Mini.
It's an AHG first edition, all electric garage. We decided to do a few things to it, so those go with the suspension, alloy wheels, 5 gears.
Similar to those expensive, and now it's
Wonderful to see, and in great condition. I mean, it's a tribute to your abilities to keep them in such lovely condition. And I mean, it's very much a part of the whole movement with the classic cars. So what have we got here, sir?
Morris Mini Minor. It's practically in original condition. And I have restored it to a certain extent.
You know, originality is everything, isn't it, with these things?
Yeah, we've had it 40 odd years.
Bedford TKs, one after the other. 330, diesel engine, a Scammer, how about that? I think it's fair to say that Lord Morrison is probably one of the stars of the show. Absolutely fantastic, this thing. A long history, providing power at Billy Smart Circus and Fayre. An absolutely fabulous example, and we were talking yesterday about the value of these things. This thing cost £12,000 when it was made, and this whole generator outfit, which sounds like quite a lot of money, particularly when you think that a house cost about £600 when that was made. So you are talking about a serious investment. Hello, John. Still with no number. We'll talk to John in a minute about his ERF, because it's got an interesting history, because ERF don't exist anymore. Now we come on to Scammer, a very famous name. They were tremendously important manufacturers of heavy haulage vehicles. This one has an interesting history because it was converted for circus work, for fair work, with a magnificent generator in the back, and very much in showman's mode, if you like. And the showman's very adaptable, a lot of very clever engineers, so they would take an ordinary lorry and convert it to their applications. First of our emergency vehicles. Hello, guys. Some of these are some very famous fire engines because they do film work, and we'll get to hear a bit about that. One careful lady driver coming past me now. Fire women as well as firemen. How about that? So now we've got a Carmichael Range Rover converted to fire brigade work, mostly on airfield. 6-wheeler, which makes it quite unusual. Then our old friend the Landrover. This is a GEC, was at their works at Portsmouth and has a wonderful history. We'll talk to the owner about it in a few minutes. So we've got a really great display today. Another of our Bedford TKs. Just look at that. Absolutely like new. A wonderful paint job. Really nice to see. And you can only wonder at the time and trouble that's gone into getting some of these wagons into their fabulous condition. Because don't forget, these are all working vehicles who spent their life tramping up and down the roads of Great Britain, and then they come into preservation. And good morning, Mr. Skinner. Some people haven't got any numbers and you've got 2. How does that work? Does that mean you're 28? We'll catch up with them in a minute, we'll talk to them. First of all, said Atkinson Borderers, Gardner 180 engine, wonderful, wonderful engine, very, very highly respected within the industry, tremendously reliable, sensible. Now we've got a Bedford with a P6, how about that? Just listen to that lovely sound of that engine as that comes past. Really great to hear. This has a Scammell coupling on the back, which at the time in the 1950s was very popular. It was quite a sensible hitch. It was rather superseded by fifth wheel. Now, my goodness, what on earth have we got here? I think we've got a bit of American history now. How about that, boys and girls? That's what you call a fire engine. That's a Mack. Very famous name in lorry terms. Where's the city of Hamilton? We'll find out in a minute. Are you a fireman on the back of there? We'll get you parked up and we'll find out all about that fabulous, fabulous fire truck. Sir, first of our exhibits today. Good morning, sir. Who are you and where are you from?
My name's Roland Brownsall. I'm from Sarah, Hertfordshire. This is a 1969 Fayre TK 3 diesel 6-cylinder 4-speed gearbox, and on the back today we've got a J4 Austin Morris pickup truck, which is only 5 remaining on the road according to DBL database, and that is one of the 5, and it's a 1970.
Wonderful, thank you very much for bringing it to show us today. I mean, these trucks were all over the place in the 60s and 70s. A very successful lorry, a tremendous lot of them got exported all around the world. There became a tremendous, tremendous demand.
1970 Fayre TK, original front note. We've had it for 5.5 years, found it in a barn.
Wonderful, lovely to see, and in smashing condition. And I mean, do you just go to shows with it, or what do you do?
But we're going to put a high ab on it at 650, going back in old times.
Great to see, thank you very much for bringing it. Now, well, in unusual terms, we like to start you young, don't we? So what have we got here, young man?
I have a Scammell Scour, which is based on a mobility
yes, wheelchair. And so handmade, have you made this, or Dad helped you?
we bought it from Great Dog 16 Fair.
Right, well, lovely to see, thank you very much. Now, one extreme to the other, my goodness, what a machine. Sir, what have we got here?
This is a 1946 Code DG650, built in 1946. It was built with the generators for Billy Smart's Circus Fair. It used to power 3 or 4 fairground rides, plus all the lights, etc. in the circus. The 2 generators on the back are Ruston 6 BPH engines, both driving 1000 amp generators. So with the total power, you've got 2000 amps being put out on it.
Absolutely fantastic, and to see that restored to that wonderful condition, and ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, in absolutely full working order. Yesterday we managed to get both the generators running, and I saw them later in their static display running. Absolutely fabulous to see, and we are so privileged to have this here today. Thank you very much for bringing it. Now we're moving on in years a bit. John was telling me yesterday a little bit about this lorry. So, sir, now tell us, what have we got here?
It's an ERF. It was actually built by Man. Man had bought ERF out, and this is one of the last ones that they ever built with a 5-class cab. So you don't get on with 5-class cabs at all.
In absolutely superb condition, when you think this has had a working life and is now in preservation and put to work as well.
Just a big trailer on the back of vintage tractors that go around. So not totally controlled. Not
hard work.
Well, thank you very much for bringing that to show us today, sir. I think that's smashing, in lovely condition. I mean, overall, the condition of these vehicles is just extraordinary. What can you tell us about this lovely one here, sir?
This is a 1960 Scammell Highwayman. It was originally built for Shellmex as an oil tanker. Later on in life, it was converted into showman's style, so it was lengthened. Got a generator on the back to run a fairground ride. On a 110 volt generator.
Lovely to see, and thank you very much for bringing it. Have you come far, sir?
No, about 10 miles.
Just far enough. Lovely, thank you very much for bringing it, sir. Now, we said we got some film stars in our midst, because, why do I say that, sir?
It could be the holy signs on it.
These two fire engines, they have a second life, I suppose we can say, because they're used in film sets. Can you tell us one or two of the projects you've been involved with, sir?
Well, this vehicle behind us, the Dennis SS, was in Holby City and Casualty. Other vehicles we've got are EastEnders, Doctor Who, quite a few.
Wonderful. I mean, amazing to think that they've been resurrected, so they have a second life, a useful life. Do you do anything else with them?
These are actually still working vehicles. They still work for their lives, so got them.
Great. Well, wonderful to see, and thank you so much for bringing them, plus a few firemen, I see. Thank you, guys. Now, we're going down in size, but nothing's been taken away from them, because very, very impressive vehicles, these two. So what have we got here, sir?
1976 Range Rover Carmichael, 6x4, used in Imperial Steelworks, 10 years.
Great big ugly petrol engine lurking under there, I suspect.
Yeah, V8, 3.5 litre Rover.
We'll just leave it to our imagination how many gallons to the mile or miles to the gallon we do. But I bet it goes like hell.
Oh, it's pretty rapid if it wants to be. Yeah. Be honest, if it turns about 12 to the gallon, I'm quite impressed with it. So.
I dare say they are at the petrol station too. Thank you anyway, that's wonderful to see. Now, sir, what have we got here?
1957, January 57 Landrover. It's a 5-bob. Out of Portsmouth Dockyard. And does about 15, 18 to a gallon. Depends how you.
One of the many, many uses that Land Rovers get put to. I don't know, you could almost write a book on it, couldn't you? All those different variants. Lovely to see in such fabulous condition. Thank you so much for bringing them, that's great. So they're still coming in the ring, my goodness. Now, back to ERFs, E14. Tell us a little bit about your truck, sir.
I used to work for this company back in the 80s and 90s, and I bought this truck and after they never bought anything brand new and put it back in their livery.
In lovely condition, and when you think this lorry spent its life tramping up and down the country, I mean, it's amazing to see it at such a high standard. Great to see, thank you very much. We're short of a driver or two now, they're all hiding from me. Then they go and put the steering wheel on the other side, that confuses me as well. Where's the driver of this?
Possibly 6 years ago, possibly. I just had to pay a bit of duty and bits and bobs on.
I mean, in absolutely stunning condition. I mean, that is just a paint job and a half, isn't it? Did you buy it like this, or have you made it like this?
Tractor unit which would have been used in the military to carry tanks, machinery, and it's Rolls-Royce powered, 305 horsepower.
Now you have a party piece which I see you do at Bloxham. Now just tell everybody here who doesn't know, what does that involve?
Well, the party piece is with one of the lorries at the back there. You're going to make the Scammell Explorers, aren't you, where we show the axle articulation. Sadly, these are not quite designed like that. But the gentleman at the back there will tell you a little bit.
We've got a 1989 Scammell S26. It was originally a military dropped hook loader body, we fitted the Foden recovery gear on it. Believed to be the only one, we're the only people that have done it. And makes it weigh about 30 tonne. She will lift about 12 tonne, and it will pull over 300 tonne as shown at Flotsam.
Amazing, because as I look in the cab, we've only got 2 pedals. Have they hidden the clutch somewhere?
Yeah, it is automatic, this one, so it's a bit of a lazy man's lorry, if I'm honest. I've got that back on.
Thank you very, very much. Most impressive, and thank you for bringing it to our show.
We've got a Scammell Crusader with a neck and recovered body on the back. 3.5 volts engine underneath.
And this, the Walter family, that's him. So how many are in the family? And I mean trucks now.
I think there's 14 in the total.
That borders on the eccentric. We won't delve too deeply into it, but that does show an absolutely extraordinary commitment to have 14 of these monsters and to have them in such wonderful condition. Lovely to see. Thank you very, very much. Now, last but not least, probably one of the oldest. I'm not sure. What are we talking about age-wise?
She was made in 1950.
1950, so this is obviously military application to start with.
Yes, ex-military, was built as a medium weight recovery 40th one built.
I mean, a wonderful, wonderful example of British engineering, because we have the most phenomenal running gear under here. Can we just talk very briefly about that?
Yeah, sure, it's a very clever setup. If you look at the back end, there's 4 wheels there, but one axle driving all 4 wheels. On the end of the axle shafts is the gear going to a spur gear. The back wheel is linked by gears to the front wheel, so they both drive together.
Wonderful. Well, look, thank you so much for bringing these magnificent trucks to our show. We are very, very grateful for the support from these guys. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our grand finale with the lorries is an absolutely wonderful display with this amazing generator truck here. Because, my goodness, to listen to this is just absolutely extraordinary. I saw them yesterday and it was quite incredible. It's fair to say that there'd be no circus you couldn't run with that lot. I mean, just absolutely extraordinary. Rushton generator sets, 2 of them. We talked yesterday about the values, because it's quite difficult in today's terms to sort of get your head around what this must have cost. But to give you an idea, this generator truck, Morrison, was £12,000, which in today's standards is enough money, but when you think that in 1949 you could buy a house for £600, that doesn't half show that level of investment, that you could have bought basically 10, 15 houses for the value that that generator truck costs. Quite extraordinary. But of course, because the owners are so keen, so dedicated to the preservation movement, that we get to see this magnificent lorry here today. So a huge, huge thank you for bringing that, sir. Whereabouts are you based?
Daventry.
All right, so nice and close to. Well, that's great to see as a local. And how long has it taken to get that restored to this wonderful condition?
It's been worked on for about 26 years.
I mean, it's an ongoing process, isn't it? And do you have to get it through the test like ordinary lorries, or is it exempt?
No, it's exempt because of the age.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Definitely.
I mean, to say it's a specialist vehicle is a bit of an understatement, really, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. The total weight of it is 23 tonnes. Maximum speed about 28 mile an hour, and when you come to any incline, you're probably down to about 5 mile an hour.
just because of the inherent weight of all that. I mean, it's always got a load on, hasn't it?
That's right, it's always loaded. And you were talking to the chap with the American vehicle earlier with a 460 something horsepower engine. This is 105 horsepower.
Just incredible, isn't it? Yeah, so he got 4 times the capacity you got. Absolutely stunning to see. Thank you so much for bringing it, sir. Right, round of applause. My goodness, I think that's extraordinary to see.